First order of business, Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Colleen, would you take roll call, please?
Haithman, Hughesby,
Here.
Johnson,
Here.
Kirsch,
Here.
Kissinger Wolf,
Here.
Long, Rudai,
Here.
Baloo,
Here.
Zimmerman.
Here.
We have a quorum. I'm looking for a motion. Item 5, adoption of the agenda is presented.
So moved, Kirsch.
And a second?
Second, Baloo.
Motion has been made and seconded by Kirsch and then Baloo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Moving on to item 6, public comment. We have one individual signed up. Remind you to come forward to the microphone, introduce yourself. You're limited to 3 minutes, and the public comment section is for 15 minutes. Sarah Miller, you're signed up. If you would come forward, please.
Hello, my name is Sarah Miller. I'm a teacher here at Tomahawk Elementary School. I wish I didn't have to be here speaking to you today on these terms, but here I am. Are you aware that the school district has a discriminatory policy that says if an elementary class is sent home for 2 weeks to quarantine, a vaccinated teacher can teach virtually, but an unvaccinated teacher cannot teach virtually? Do you know the district is sending healthy staff home and not paying them? They are making them use their sick days, which also goes against current handbook policy. Then the district hires a sub to go into that teacher's empty classroom to teach virtually, alone in their classroom. I think we can all agree that that is not in the best interest of the students. In fact, Mr. Ennis and Mr. Steckbauer both agree with me on this issue. But yet they insist, this is the policy. I still have not seen this policy. It seems that we are following this imaginary discriminatory policy that is not in the student's best interest. Who made this verbal policy? Where is it? Who is in charge? Who would knowingly make a policy that is not in the best interest of the students? Why would you treat your devoted teachers in this manner? Can you even begin to comprehend the stress and anxiety that teachers are under here? I don't speak for all the staff here, but I know I am speaking on behalf of a few. You need to fix this. You can start by reimbursing anybody that was sent home healthy and was forced to use their sick days. That would be a great start. You can fix a few of these injustices, but there are things that you will never be able to rectify. Through this discriminatory policy, you've created a culture within this school where you have divided staff, vaxxed and unvaxxed. Can you fix the snide comments? Can you fix the cold shoulders? Can you fix the whispers in the hall? Did you know that teachers turned other teachers in last year when they saw them out buying food and necessities when they were supposed to be in quarantine? You know why I know this? Because I was turned in. Yep. I was out buying food. I was perfectly healthy, monitoring my symptoms, following all the CDC guidelines, and I was turned in. Yep, had to have a meeting with Mr. Reynolds, as a matter of fact. So now I'm always looking over my shoulder. Right? Who's turning who in? I don't know. I'll leave you with some final thoughts. First, we are not each other's enemies, but it feels like that. It feels like you are not looking out for our best interest. Second, through these discriminatory, imaginary, callous policies that the school has revealed staff's personal, private medical information, not only to other staff members, but to this community. You cannot undo that. How can you possibly make this right? How do you fix this? Where do we go to get our privacy back?
Thank you, Sarah. Is there anyone else who wishes for public comment? Please come forward, state your name.
Hello, I'm Doug Turner of Tomahawk. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak here again. As you may have heard, on October 4th, the U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced that the FBI would be taking the lead in law enforcement for what he called the disturbance spike in harassment, intimidation, and threats of violence against school board administrators, board members, teachers, and staff. It appears that that letter was in a direct effort to placate the National School Board Association, who drafted a letter to President Biden documenting heinous actions that could be the equivalent to a form of domestic terrorism and hate crimes. If one reads the letter, one finds that people are clearly raising their voices, which is common when people are discussing things that matter to them. When parents or community members cross the line into threats, local law enforcement has historically handled the situation. There's no quantitative data in the letter. Instead, there's a bunch of disparate stories thrown together to make it seem like there's a pattern, when the only pattern is a school board who defer to district administrators who don't listen to parents. Accordingly, I believe that the National School Board Association and Merrick Garland would consider myself, numerous other parents, a few students, and maybe even a few teachers here in Tomahawk labeled as domestic terrorists. Why? We haven't made any threats or committed any acts of violence. All we've done is passionately express concerns when this has happened. At the September 14th meeting, if you recall, I talked to you about the issues that I see in the U.S. history curriculum. Since that meeting, I've reached out to the teacher, the curriculum director, the high school principal, and the district administrator. It took several weeks, but I eventually got a reply about my concerns. After reviewing the curriculum, I don't understand how the U.S. history curriculum can exclude anything that happened prior to Reconstruction. No mention of the Declaration of Independence, why we fought a Revolutionary War, or the U.S. Constitution. Nothing about the Founding Fathers, no discussion about why we fought a Civil War. I believe this curriculum is appalling and a disservice to our students. How can anyone understand this country without understanding why it was founded? I will be emailing you a copy of the curriculum along with my concerns. I hope you will take those concerns seriously and fully investigate it and take whatever steps you can to rectify that situation. There are many reasons a parent might come here to speak with you. This curriculum is just one example. If I've learned anything about this country from its founding, it's that free speech, a vigorous debate, is a cherished principle of our democracy, and it will be defended. I urge you to stand for free speech and a vigorous debate. Accordingly, I ask you at your next board meeting to draft a resolution and debate it, condemning Merrick Garland and the National School Board Association for their appalling letter calling on the FBI to investigate parents for speaking at school boards. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doug. Is there anyone else? Yes, please come forward.
Good evening. I'm Sue Hawkins. I just want to add to Sarah's comments. My previous career, I worked for a nonprofit. I was an administrator and with public funding. And my understanding is, as an administrator or as administrators, it's our dual diligence to be wise of how taxpayer money is utilized. And the fact that sub is being brought in for 2 weeks when you have somebody willing that's already under contract being paid is not wise use of taxpayer dollars. And I just wanted to bring that forward because I think that's a responsibility that administration should have, is always to be mindful of wise use of taxpayer dollars. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sue. Is there anyone else? Okay. Moving on to item 7, consent agenda items. We have several items on the consent agenda, including
One
addition.
more.
Oh,
One more. I had my hand up. I just want to make a comment because I'm.
Please
I'm
state your
Ginny-
name.
I'm Ginny Fedorowicz. I just want to make a comment that somebody posted that Reynolds was given full benefits and pay when he resigned. Taxpayer money. Thanks.
okay. Is there anyone else? Then we're moving on to item 7, consent agenda items. We have several items on there. The approval of the minutes from the regular meeting on October 12th, 2021. Employee contract adjustments, which includes additional staff, resignations, and above pay. Those are attached to the agenda. Looking for a motion to accept these agenda items.
Rude, I so move.
Is there a second?
Hughesby, second.
Motion's been made by Rudai, seconded by Hughesby. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Going on to item 8. Do you want to introduce, is Paula?
Paula?
Paula there, okay.
Yes,
Paula, okay.
yes. Paula has a report to give on future libraries, and Paula is our librarian. And she, I know, works very hard in this particular area. I saw her the other day down here in the elementary school, just teaching away. And that's what she does day in and day out. So Paula, go ahead.
So I guess I would just entertain any questions. The whole point of being, I guess, when I took the library journey is that, I know Bonnie, you had said like, I didn't really know what a librarian does in the summer, and I guess I didn't either when I took this role. Maybe I would have thought it over a little more, but, just as I've been going through my schooling to get my certification, they say that a librarian is kind of like the centerpiece. So if you looked at the presentation, you saw the pieces of the puzzle and it kind of goes around the librarian. And so I can't do this job alone. I meet with the curriculum director, my principals, I meet with Mr. Alderton. Sandy keeps me on toes on my budget. And the whole point of the Future Ready Library Plan is to, I guess, keep us having a vision and to be accountable and responsible with our money and planning and goals. And then, oh, and I forgot curriculum, sorry. I meet with curriculum as well because there's a big tie-in now with the technology and curriculum that's being taught, needing support coming from the library. In the past, in order to get funding for the district, you had to have a technology plan that was written and approved every, was it year? Every so many years? I don't remember the year turnover. And this is now kind of the replacement for it. While there's no funding attached to it, it is recommended that every district get a plan in place, and then basically it's my discretion to write it for as long as I want, and then try to reach those goals and then renew it when the time frame is up that I wrote it for. So I did mine for 2 years because, well, 3, last school year, this year, and next year, just because of the craziness of the pandemic. I figured I would need a little more time to accomplish the goals.
That was a very nice presentation that you gave us on the PowerPoint. The board, do you have any questions of Paula?
Not a question, but it was nice to see the average. They put in there that there's 25 students checked out, 25 books checked out per student. That was pretty interesting to me. I didn't think it'd be that high.
That's how many materials we have per student?
Well, you have average of 25 books per student. That is a nice average to have. I think it gives them a variety.
That is recommended by our Destiny Follett provider. So the goal is always to have at least 25 materials per checkout for students. And unfortunately, with the funding I get from the state, a book is about $20 a book, so it doesn't buy as much when materials get damaged, because that's the only funding I get is what I get from the common school funds. So, yeah.
I just wanna
still
say-
have a good collection.
I just want to say I appreciated the PowerPoint too. It was very thorough, you know, and I appreciate seeing each goal delineated and specifics underneath it. So it was just, obviously you put a lot of time into it and it looks excellent. Thank you.
Okay, then I guess we're looking for a motion to approve the the Tomahawk School District Library Future Ready program. Is that how?
Future ready plan, yes.
Okay, thank
Because then I
you.
can get that off my checklist with the DPI and have them stop nagging me.
Okay.
Rude I so move.
Second, Baloo.
Motion's been made by Rudai, seconded by Blue. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 9 on the agenda is the approval of the 2021 district budget resolution in the amount of $20,736,168. And the resolution reads, be it resolved that the school district of Tomahawk Board of Education approve a budget in the amount of $20,736,168 for the 2021-22 school year as filed with the Clerk of Board of Education on October 26, 2021, in accordance with the rules, regulations, and policies of the Board of Education. The adoption of the budget shall be by roll call and shall be incorporated into the official minutes of the meeting of the board. Looking for some discussion on this.
Okay, I'd just like to make a couple comments in regard to the budget. As Kay indicated, the total amount for the 21-22 budget is $20,736,168. This budget, as it currently stands, has a $1.8 million deficit. That means that 1.8, if this budget follows through, as is planned right now till the end of the year, the district would be taking $1.8 million out of the district's fund balance. And that is with the fact that the district cut over $1 million this year out of the budget. So had that cut not been made, the deficit would have been approximately $3 million. So that is a position, you know, that a district, any district, cannot be in for very long. And there's discussion about an upcoming referendum in April, and that makes this upcoming referendum very, very critical to the future of the district, to the education the kids receive, to the health of the district overall, really to the whole community, because this school district belongs to the people of the Tomahawk School District. And everybody has a stake in seeing that this is a district that provides a quality education to the kids in Tomahawk, in the Tomahawk School District, so they can not only become future leaders of this community, but also future leaders throughout our state and our country. So, as I said, this upcoming referendum will be very, very critical in terms of putting the district back in a position where it can maintain the quality of education, continue to build on what has already been done in the Tomahawk School District over many, many years, and continue to provide the education, you know, that students need. So we're just beginning the planning process In regard to this referendum, basically what happened was that the district had a $3 million, I believe a $3 million revenue cap override that expired over a year ago. And so it did not apply to this year. So basically the school district lost $3 million out of its revenue to operate the school district. As a result, cuts were made, and as a result, we now have a $1.8 million deficit. So this referendum will be to restore that funding that the district had 2 years ago. And everybody in the district, even though there are disagreements or whatever it might be, everybody has a stake in this referendum and obviously in this school district. So there'll be a lot more coming out on that. It means a lot, obviously, to everyone, the teachers, the students, everyone. There'll be a lot more information coming out. Hopefully we're just starting the planning committee at the board level tonight. And then we'll be talking about where we go from there in terms of information out to the public and that sort of thing. But I just want to indicate that those particular 2 points, again, that the deficit this year is $1.8 million, and that is after the board, the district, cut over $1 million out of this budget. And with that, I guess those would be all my comments. Unless there's questions.
Questions from the board? Okay, then I'm looking for a motion to approve the 2021-22 district budget resolution with the amount of the $20,736,168.
I so move, Zimmerman.
Looking for a second?
Second, Baloo.
Motion's been made and seconded. Can we take a roll call vote, Colleen?
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Baloo,
Yes.
Hughesby,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Hirsch, Kissinger Wolf,
Yes.
Rudai.
Yes.
Motion's carried. Moving on to item 10, approval of the 2021-22 district tax levy necessary to support the 2021-22 budget in the amount of $11,136,817. The resolution reads, be it resolved that the school district of Tomahawk Board of Education approves a tax levy in the amount of $11,136,817 for the 2021-22 school year for the operation and maintenance of the school district of Tomahawk is filed with the clerk of the Board of Education October 26, 2021, in accordance with the rules, regulations, and policies of the Board of Education. This motion is based on the Wisconsin statute sections 120.12, parentheses 3, parentheses C, and 120.12, parentheses 3, parentheses D, and upon the determination that the annual meeting has voted a tax levy for the operation of the school district of the Tomahawk that is greater than what this resolution provides and what is permitted underneath the limit under Wisconsin statute subchapter 7 of chapter 121. Comments on this one?
Well, excuse me, I would just make one, and that is that, okay, so the district has an annual meeting, and at that annual meeting, the district sets a tax levy. When the district gets its, what we call third Friday enrollment in September, then that tax levy and everything is recalculated. And not too many people maybe agree with the state formula in that regard, but what happened in Tomahawk this year is when those September student numbers are run through the state aid formula, the district actually lost over $200,000 in additional revenue. So that brought the deficit from approximately $1.6 million up to a little over $1.8 million. There's nothing we can do about it. That's the formula that the state uses. But that did not help the Tomahawk School District when we recalculated that. So that is a factor.
And understanding that whole formula, Sandy, I think you're about the one person here that knows that whole formula.
We actually gained over 50 kids, and that's why we lost so much money.
That's why.
Yeah, the more kids you gain up until the declining enrollment disappears, you lose money for every child you gain.
Something needs to be fixed. Questions from the board? Okay, then I'm looking for a motion to approve the district tax levy for 2021-22.
Huseby, so moved.
And the second?
Second, Zimmerman.
Motion's been made by Huseby, seconded by Zimmerman. Roll call vote, please.
Huseby,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Kirsch. Yes. Kissinger Wolf,
Yes.
Ruda,
Yes.
Baloo.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item 11, discussion of referendum planning committee. As we've heard, we need to go to referendum again with the referendum failing this year and the losses. We need to look at our budget and see what we can do with this. Go for it.
Well, the idea would be to form a school board planning committee. And the purpose of the planning committee, in my mind, would be to oversee the whole referendum operation and answer such questions as, okay, should we do a survey? Should we have focus groups? When should they be? Where should they be? And just kind of overall a plan for the upcoming referendum. Now, there will, as in any referendum, there will be additional assistance needed in terms of resolutions adopted, in terms of putting materials together to explain to the public and all that. But I see the planning committee of the board just kind of overseeing that whole thing and then planning accordingly. And the idea would be, I would hope that we could meet as soon as this next week, if because we have to get started on this.
When we went for the 2017 resolution, we did have a community survey. I looked that up. That was addressed in the 11/8/2016 minutes, and also for 2020, we had a community survey that went out too. So, committee, we need an ad hoc committee to start formulating this. Interested personnel, board members.
I would be interested. Huseby.
I will, Zimmerman.
Okay.
I will, Kate. First.
Okay.
I will too. Baloo.
Okay. Okay. We'll have the committee there. And
Okay, maybe we can talk later about when we could meet, Monday or Tuesday next week, possibly. And these committee meetings are published. They're public meetings, so they are published in the paper and that sort of thing. So.
next up on the agenda, item 12, Dustin. Approval for the bid on the kitchen equipment. We have, the board received your information about some type of oven. I am not a cook, so go for it. Although I did make 34 apple pies this weekend with Girl Scouts, let me tell you.
Well, you could use these ovens then.
I bet you we could have.
So what they are is they're a combi oven, so it's a combination steam oven and convection oven.
Would you mind coming up to the microphone? Thank you. Dustin is our food service manager. Yes.
So what we're looking for is two combi ovens. They're a replacement for the combi ovens that we've had so far. And what they are is a half steam oven and a half convection oven. So they can do steam, convection, and then they can do a combi, which is both, which are extremely useful in a lot of applications. And they're also useful for if any other piece of equipment goes down, whether it be a tilt skillet or a steam jacket or an oven, these ovens can then back those pieces of equipment up. So they're extremely versatile and they're extremely needed. We actually lost one 2 years ago that we just was junk. And we have one left at this point, and it was purchased in 1996, which is way outlived its years. Usually you get about 7 years out of a piece of equipment that's ran, let's say, in the restaurant industry. So 25 years that's a run. So we're just looking for replacements of those.
And this is in the budget, we've got money in there for that, food service
Yeah.
and that type of thing.
Yeah, it's coming out of
Fund 50.
Fund 50, which is, I think, about 126,000 in there at the end of last year, so definitely enough to cover that. And then we have TAR has a guarantee this year of 40-some thousand also, so even if we offset that, you'll see that guarantee, so you'll see that money come back by the end of the year.
And just if I could comment, just so it's understood, food service is a separate fund. It has its own expenditures, it has its own revenues, and it's used to operate the food service program. You can't take money out of the food service program and pay for a paraprofessional in the library. Can't do that. The money is food service only, and that's where it can be spent, and that's where this particular the money for this particular piece of equipment would come out of there.
Any questions of Dustin? Where is this going to be located in?
The middle school cafeteria, which is the main one.
Okay.
Both of them will go in the middle school cafeteria?
Yep, we had 2 in there before, we're down to 1 right now. They used to be stacked, but we have height challenged people now. So we're gonna put it a little lower.
Vertically challenged.
Will you relocate the one that's still working into one of the other areas?
It's leaking right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's leaking, so I don't know how long it will last. I think that's something that we could talk to Sandy with and see if that can't be sold out. Something like that.
So if that leaking one is, continues to leak and you get rid of it, you're okay with just one then?
And we'll be purchasing 2.
2.
So it used to be a double stacked. We have it stacked on top of each other, but now they'll be side by side.
Side by side,
Yeah, it is 2, which is what we originally had 2 years ago.
Okay.
With COVID, we really were able to get through with one, being that we had a lot of students, et
Absolutely.
cetera. But now that we're back full tilt, definitely a need.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions of Dustin?
And these are both warranted for 2 years?
Yes.
Did I read?
Yes, I think it was 2
12
years.
months and then an additional 12-month warranty?
Yep.
Okay.
And we're replacing kind of the same style, same everything, so we expect to get another 20 years out of them.
Is it 20 years till you retire? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Looking for a motion to approve the bid on the kitchen equipment as presented by Dustin,
Rude I so move.
and a second.
So moved first.
Motion's been made by Rudai, seconded by Kirsch. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Moving on to item 13, going into closed session. Pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85, parentheses 1, parentheses C, parentheses E, the Board of Education may move into closed session for the purpose of discussion of individual teachers' leave and accommodation request. So I'm looking for a motion to go in closed session.
I so move for Lou.
And the second?
First. Second.
Motion made by Lou, seconded by Kirsch. Roll call?
Baloo,
Yes.
Hirsch,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Hughesby,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Kissinger Wolf,
Yes.
Rudai.
Yes.
Okay. We will ask everyone to please leave the auditorium so we can go into closed session.
Maybe. As far as I'm concerned, the principals and Wendy should stay,
Okay,
I think.
sure. Principals,
Sit in the middle or what?
Oh, principals, Wendy.
You want the principal?
Yeah.
Oh, Wendell, Wendell. Get Ryan, guy. Ryan, guy.
Husband's the very last one, tall with white hair, and she's shorter. Some sort of red in the back.
oh, okay.
That's Amber Chocolate's mom.
The name's familiar.
Implicit Kingman's service station north of town.
You go right ahead.
Okay, so,
He's still alive.
what's that?
Dean's still alive.